Hello everyone and welcome to a Concrete Jungle video. This is going to be a guide on how to get over 100,000 points on a high score. That's playing in solo mode on the endless game length. If we go over here to the leaderboard, you can see my high score right here. I have a one that is slightly higher than Cube Hamster. I've got to say a big thanks to him as well. He turned me onto the Marina character and how to play with her. And it turns out that I ended up developing a strategy pretty similar to what he did to get this high score as well. Now in this video I am going to aim to play slightly better and try and break this, maybe get the 110,000, but I will of course walk you through the strategy. There is going to be a lot of talking and I'm going to try and demonstrate some of the game as well as we play it. But anyway, let's start with this. We go into solo mode, we go over here to endless game length and starting purchases. This might help you to have a few of those at the beginning, but the score penalty probably isn't worth it at all. So if we have a look over on the side here, you can see obviously we're using Marina. She's the one on the far right, and then we have this deck right here. I don't know if this is the most optimal one to choose, but this will give us a lot of negative points, which we're going to use for score using the prisons that she has available in her skill tree. And we'll use the electronic plants to gain a lot of economy from these buildings here. And this one right here is obviously going to increase our expenditure threshold. So the requirement for points in each row will be stalled a little bit by these two right here. Now, the main deal with this deck is to convert the cards that we have here into 17 silos and 6 prisons. That's the ratio that I found to really work well for me. And doing that can be a little bit tricky. The start of this game becomes a bit of a roll of the dice. You need to get a good run of cards coming towards you, and that's actually not a great start, so we'll restart quickly. And then you've also got a little bit of a puzzle to do on the board as you try and roll out the cards in the right order, spend them over here on skills and buying new cards correctly, and then get yourself out of this first grid right here, because we need to get -3 on absolutely everything. I'd say what we've got here isn't actually particularly great. You want those electronic plants, is it, to roll up after the other cards, so that's not very good at all. Ideally a couple of substations, a factory, and then your economy boosting cards would be the way to go. So it might take me a few restarts, it usually does. Of course, I'll bring it back in when we find the right rollout. Okay, this looks like a reasonable draw of cards. And one thing I'd like to point out is that the electronics plant, you would actually like to see that after your factories roll out as well. But for now, we'll do this. Don't be afraid to place a few houses in the beginning. We do want these out of our deck, but 4 of them together will form a block. And look at that, our 2 factories roll out. That is extremely good. We now have a large amount of economy to spend. 3 cards right there. So the scrapyard is really good. I'd also like the silos as well. We're going to take this scrapyard, and then we get silos. That's actually a really great start. And another scrapyard, which don't want to use immediately, but hopefully we'll build our economy fast enough. So right now we're faced with a challenge of trying to get all of these up to +3, buying enough cards to get the prisons over here in the future as well. And as we place down these coal power plants, we're going to need to delete the pollution cards that follow them. So we need to get this up to a +3. If we put that there, we can put silos either side. So, sorry, +3, -3. You'll probably hear me say that a fair bit. I'm used to treating them like they're positives. Let's see what is now available. A scrapyard is not particularly good because we just need to delete the 2 pollutions, and what we need now is more renewable cards to keep our card count above 12. So we'll see what happens here. We're probably going to be forced to use another one of these, right? No, we won't do that. That would be silly. We need to place that scrapyard pretty soon. So we'll put that up here. We'll put this one there, and now we're going to be forced to use the scrapyard. I'm going to put this here so we can get some more points on those 2, which means we're going to be building over here, so we probably don't want to bring our houses too closer to that area. So we'll put this here, and we're going to delete the pollution, which will confirm, and you can see that now we'll be able to delete the next one as well. Problem is, we're going to delete a pollution, and we're going to spend... No, that'll actually bring us to 12 cards. Can't help but feel I'm doing something wrong there. Okay, I confused myself a little bit there because we have the extra house card now, so that means that we can actually get away with this move. So what we'll do is put the silos there. We've now got a string of 3s. We'll put a house here and start to build them back down. And now we can use the scrapyard again. I'll tell you what, let's put it there so we can put some points into that area. Actually, no, we'll probably put it here and put a silo there. And that will give us a little bit more flexibility, I do believe. So then when we delete the pollution card right there, we've got more houses to place down. And now we've got tons of economy to spend. So we have 12 cards, that's okay, I guess. By buying this, we're going to earn another house, so we can delete it with that, which actually works out really well. And one more card will allow us to buy prisons. So we are actually off to an extremely good start right here. Let's see if we can do this properly. I am just going to go with that one right there. And by the way, when we buy cards, we don't buy renewable ones because we want to use them once and then they're out of our deck. Now we can use the prison, put the prison in our deck right there. That actually replaces a house, so now we've got to think twice about removing them and keep our card count balanced. Yeah, there's a lot to consider when you're doing this. So I'm going to place the factory here, and our first prison is rolling up, so we'll be able to get rid of our first row over here. Then I think I'm just going to quite simply place that there. Some economy. It didn't actually connect to this block, it connected to that one, didn't it? And then silos will go over here as we need to definitely get that one up to a -3. So in the beginning we're not trying to get high scores, we're trying to get through here and make things nice as we reshape our deck. So we put down our first prison and clear our first row. So at this point, let's have a look. We have 15 cards. We're going to lose one here, so that'll be 14. And then we can use a scrapyard to delete a house. That's 13 and then 12. So actually we're doing extremely good. What I'd recommend doing when you're playing and trying to get this high score is definitely make some save points. So we're going to save and exit now, and this means if we make some mistakes as we're trying to clear rows and deal with all of the cards coming through the deck, then we can revert back to this point. So definitely make use of save points as you go along. Okay, looking at the rollout of cards, we probably want to put a substation up here. Keep that block going because when we get our economy building cards, what they're called, electronic plants, then we can use those quite well. So no good cards here. That means we take ourselves another prison, and we have that scrapyard coming up. I'm hoping it wasn't this house right here that it replaces, and it turned out to be so. And what we're going to do is just give that one right there an extra point, and we'll put our prison down on this one. But anyway, we're ready to use the scrapyard, and you know what, I don't really see a particularly intelligent place to put this, so we'll just put it over here and delete the houses. So let's check the card count. We are now down to 12 cards, which means we need to be buying more and earning more houses, which will then delete with scrapyards that come through. So we need to earn some more economy. So let's clear another tile and then continue building our deck up the top here. You see this thing, this size of this block is really big, which means putting a factory here and then an electronics plant there is going to give us tons of economy. So don't be afraid of doing that, because it just means we've got to shift our focus to this area and getting some minus points there. So we've got a load of houses rolling up. At some point you do want to stop using them and waiting for scrapyards to come through. We haven't got a scrapyard right here. We could actually get ourselves a third prison, but quite honestly there's a little bit of a balancing act here. As we're not looking to progress fully, we still are trying to reshape the deck. So we'll take this one as it simply gives us a purchase. We might also be able to put it down next to next to a building like a house that will take the positive points. Now the warehouse plant is probably alright to have for a while, but later on we will want to replace this one. This can be really good for shuffling out houses, and as you go along you do get a fair few of them. So I'm actually going to accept that one as we're trying to build, you know, across all of these up to the 7th tile, more so than we are going to use these skills right here. And we do have the silos in the skill tree to bail us out if we get into some bad situations though. So I'm going to put this there, that's another -3. Then we can focus on this one over here as well, which looks to be relatively easy. We are going to totally be forced to place down more houses right now, aren't we? What I will do is take another prison though. And unfortunately it wasn't one of the ones we're about to place, although it is this one right here. So once again, just plop that down at the bottom. We're not trying to earn all the points in the world right now, we are still trying to reshape the deck. So I think we're going to put this here and give ourselves an option for 2 frees. We can discard the houses, we will do that. I'm going to place this one down though because it gives us a purchase, which is really good. Also, how many cards do we have? 15 at the moment. Always got to be careful with that number. There we go. So that one gets a +1. We now get one more purchase. Can we get a scrapyard? That would probably be good. We can't, and you know, you probably take this one if not using a skill, which I'm not sure if we're going to do. We can use the silos, but I'd really focus on getting scrapyards to replace your houses at this point. So we got a factory and an electronics plant. I'm going to check the plot size. 11 out of 12, that one goes down first. and then maybe we'll focus on this tile here. So we could put that there and another one there, and then, you know, get the points down or up depending on what way you look at it. That also completed a block, I think, so we've now got a ton of economy to spend all of a sudden. This silo has to go down here. We needed that one to be -3. We're going to put down a prison over here, and you can see how this strategy is unfolding. So I'm sort of walking you through these baby steps, and at this point I realise that it's kind of a walkthrough. It's not quite the same, but I'm hoping I'll show you all of the challenges you might encounter trying to get this high score, and then later on we'll get to the strategy once we've developed our deck correctly. So I'm sort of tempted to skip on a little bit here. What we might start to do is spend our silo points on houses, but basically at this point you just want to continue doing what I'm doing, playing it safe, you know, not bringing in any extra cards into your deck, and slowly removing all of them with the scrap yards that appear right here. So I think I've kind of made much of that clear. We can discard 2 cards, but there's really no reason to. Let's just start a new block over there going forwards, and we'll try and grab some economy from something over here, probably that silo. I know it's very little, but it's probably worth doing. There we go. And we'll put this up here. And basically I need to take one of these cards, don't I, because we've got tons of economy. So also picking up more of these is alright if you're in a better shape with your deck, which I don't feel like I am at the moment, so I'd probably take one of these. But look at that, plus 12 to expenditure threshold. That makes a big difference in the long run, so a few of those is good. Silos, remember, we're trying to aim for 17 of those in total, so we'll happily accept those into our deck. And I'm not seeing any scrap yards. We might start to see some cargo stations soon. Anyway, I'm going to progress on a little bit further and bring you back in when we've made some progress. Just want to mention another thing about picking cards when you've got duff ones like these. I was going to select the demolition, then I thought, no, wait a minute, that's, you know, 10 points on the red. So always pick something with low on the red or maybe high on the yellow to keep building up your options on the economy and getting new cards in your deck. So something else there to consider. Okay, the fate of the cards coming towards me have been really cruel in this run, to be honest. And what we're going to do is be very careful here. I need a prison to go on there to negative those points, but actually I don't think I do because we've got 2 over here. Anyway, things are getting tight is the point that I'm making, and I haven't had a good roll of the dice. No more scrap yards coming through. So what we're going to have to do now is change up our strategy a little bit and start using the silos. At the same time, I've also unlocked this, the choose a card from your deck to duplicate and add pollution to your deck. That's something you want to do with the prisons, as they are going to be very, very rare. So what we're going to do is use the silos to replace those. It might also be a good idea to get rid of some of these townhouses which sort of sit on the edge here, causing trouble. Another thing to point out though is that once you get over here to this 7th row, things really do start to change a fair bit. So even you get like a slow sort of grueling start like this, it does tend to turn itself around at some point. So we'd be wise to get a -3 over there, get rid of that one, and we're going to put a prison down here. What am I waiting for? We're waiting, yeah, we just need to do this right now actually. We need to duplicate our prison and place one down here. The next 2 disappear, and then there's the pollution. So immediately what we can do is spend our silo points, although always, you know, check the shop, because each time you use a skill the shop changes. So now we've got rid of the pollution and we've got a silo down the bottom there, so things should start to get a little bit easier as we do this. Okay, we're at another save point here because we've got a landfill. Want to delete 2 cards from the build list, and when is the best time to play this we might not know. We've got a house at the top here, and I wish I'd have seen that before I placed some more down here. That card is going to appear somewhere down the bottom here, and we want to be able to place all of these ones and then have it roll up underneath with a green card underneath it, so we can get rid of some of these houses or townhouses, which are going to be really important. So that's the strategy when you start to get some of these landfills and other cards approach. Obviously a landfill you need to save because you need 2 cards at once. If you've already got the house here and you pick the regular scrapyard, then you're going to be able to delete it. So hopefully hopefully that made sense. Let's overwrite our save. Okay, now you can see it in action, the landfill. I had to place quite a lot of cards for this to roll around, but now we've got houses and townhouses here. And I don't know if actually that's the best place to put it, but that's where I'm going to put it for now. and we'll delete those two from our deck, and then the next two roll around. I've also got the incinerator right here. This is another one, looks too good to be true, right? I can't remember if it just deletes them from the build list or from your deck, so I'm going to save, use that card and find out. Okay, look at that. We've got a townhouse and a house cornered, and this will delete from the deck. And at some point we do need to start getting rid of our factories and our substations, believe it or not. I'm going to delete all 4 of those cards. Best place to put this, probably right there. And we're going to say goodbye, because eventually we do need to get rid of them. So now kind of felt like a good opportunity. And you'll start to see this more, just your prisons and your silos. So we're at 14 cards right now, which does mean we're going to have to duplicate some more prisons, pick up some more silos as well. And in the skill tree, we've still got 2 more silos right here and 1 more duplication to make. So picking up all of those silos like I did before might be a little bit tricky. However, there's a card that's going to come along later that will allow you to duplicate other cards, and that one's going to be really important, but it won't be here just yet. Okay, and another move here has paid off. Once again, use the save and reload to help you do this, but we've got the delete 2 cards from the build list right here, and these are the only houses that we have at this point. I think I'm going to put that thing right there and delete these 2. Bam, there we go. If we have a look at our deck now, no green cards, which is good. Now what we want to do is start reducing more of these other ones as well and getting our silo numbers up. Okay, now we get to talk about a very powerful card, and I think I have the specific time right here to use it. That is this card, the Museum. Clone the last 3 cards played, add them to your deck. That is a crazy card right there. I'm hoping that'll pop up underneath these silos. If not, we've got the prison right here. Also, I used this building to get a crazy amount of points on that one. Bam, so we'll start to earn a little bit more. And there's the museum. So now we can place 3 silos in a row. And what are we up to? 7 points at the moment. I've got to think about where I'm going to put these. I think I'll just put them here for now. 1, 2, 3. And now we get to clone those cards. And we're starting to shape the deck how we want to now. So this is good. This is really good. The more of those that crop up, the more you can do this. We're up to 7 silos to 5 prisons. And now when we get some cards that can delete cards, we want to kind of focus on getting rid of these ones as well, believe it or not. So it'll take some time to get there though. I almost cannot believe my luck. As soon as I said it, Incinerator card comes up, and look, we can get rid of all 4 of these now, which is absolutely crazy. It might be a little bit early, but to be honest, I feel like this game has been slower than my last attempt at a high score. We're going to put it right there, and we're going to get rid of the substation, the electronic plants, the factory, and another one of those. And that is absolutely crazy. Let's go have a look at our deck again. So now we're really down to the correct shape right here. We're going to look to get rid of some of those cards again. One of these would be really nice to have, you know, now and then with one of the other ones, but because you've got to sort of pick them with a little bit of luck, it means you'll end up getting forced to use one. However, now, with just prisons and silos, basically, and a warehouse to get rid of this if we don't want to play it, then we'll chuck it in there. We'll try and get rid of... I regret that as soon as I did that. But yeah, this is something that you could do. Try and get rid of it with some other cards that will disregard ones. We'll take that because we get an extra purchase with it. Food processing plant. I didn't really look at the other ones there. They don't discard from your deck. Because they don't give it to another player, they just remove it from the build list. And now we run out of economy. So we still have the silos card. We can actually bring in cards like the pollution one, which I completely forgot about, and replace them with silos, which increases the number of these, which is all good at the moment. I'm not sure how, but the pollution card didn't get added to our deck. So we can replace a warehouse with a silo, which we will do. That brings us down to 13 cards. Got to be careful with that. Then we can clone one and get ourselves a pollution card again, which we'll replace with a silo. So now we got 10 to 5. That's a really good ratio. Definitely want more of these, and I feel like now the deck hasn't quite shaped up with the same luck that we had before, and now we're waiting on economy points to get that one specific card that will help us duplicate the silos, and then you'll need to, you know, save and restart with some immense timing to help you get what you want. So anyway, now let's talk about the sort of end game strategy. It looks like this run isn't going to be as successful as before, but now that we are all silos and prisons, I can show you what it is that we do. With the correct ratio, this works out really well. With an incorrect one, it's probably not going to be quite as good. Let's actually just clear this entire thing. You know, placing down some prisons while it's being cleared is a good thing, because those negative points go back onto the row behind you. We're going to start off like this with the silos, and we're going to create a grid that goes out like so. And we're going to put the prisons in between every other one like this. So let's just put down more silos then, since they're coming through. And the prisons go like this in between each one. Then what you can do is put either the silos here. I like to actually space this out. You can play around with the pattern a little bit yourself, but this is the way that I like to do it. So that's going to, you know, sort out the points on that one. And then let's just get this whole grid in place. You can really see the strategy now emerging. So now what we start to do is just... This is where you start to play fast as well. So everything that you see that I'm doing is normal, just putting in your prisons, upgrading the silos as you go along. Looks like we can still upgrade that one, and you'll start to get ridiculous amounts of points. And it's these big multipliers that really count for your score, because they make so much more of a difference than those smaller ones that we had before. But this is literally it, so I'm going to keep going just so you can get an idea of how this plays out. Like I said before, with the correct ratio, the prisons and silos should basically fill up an entire grid at roughly around the same time, so you can get really good scores without having to clear anything too early. But I like to do it like this, just go along, and yeah, I'm feeling like we got too many prisons as we're filling them up before we finish upgrading our silos. I also need to check these as well. Got a scrapyard, that's no longer good. Actually, kind of really poor choice right here. I'm not sure if you can get away with scrapping nothing. But I might select that one. Anyway, I'm going to aim for a high score. If I don't get it in this video, that's fine. I want to show you the strategy that got me there for the other one. So we're going to continue with this and just hope that it works out. And it does look like there are just too many prisons. Maybe we could scrap one and try and get the same ratio with lower cards. That might not be a bad strategy at all. What did we have before in my notes? It was 17 to 6. So with 10 to 5, if we had 10 to 4, that's... not terribly dissimilar. It might not be a bad idea to try that. I think I'm going to go with 10 to 4 then for the rest of this video and get the ratio correct. But you have seen how this works. There is a little bit more that I want to show you, so we're going to continue placing down all of these silos. And there's the scrapyard. Let's put it up the top here, and we're going to delete the prism from our deck. Bam! There we go. Okay, now we should see this balance out a little bit more. Okay, there we go. So now you're going to see these 47 points emerge. That is the correct way to do it. That's the most that you get on each tile. If you get some special card come through here, maybe you could play it and make it work to your advantage, but otherwise, yeah, that works pretty well. So now we're kind of like running out of options. As the prison spaces fill up, you could perhaps put in some silos where you shouldn't, but eventually you're going to be forced to play down the bottom. And you're not going to get all the points at the back here without the correct ratio. Looks like that time I did it before. I got very lucky with making the right decision. So with 5 points to go, I don't think we can even get away with doing that, can we? We do have one more silo to play at least. And now here comes another important part. To maximise the amount of points you're going to earn, you can see in the middle here it's 47s, and then it drops off a little bit towards the end, and the last row is always going to have less. So as soon as we play this, we want to drop our silos on the ones that still need points, and as the play comes through, this is always tricky, try and put the prisons down for the next row as well, as they'll add more points to the one in front of them. Let's keep dropping down those silos. We want to maximise our points here, and you know, it sort of did half good there, didn't I? And that is pretty much the entire strategy right there. At this point, you can either choose to continue playing your silos and prisons and just clearing all of the rows and getting all of the points, which can be a little bit tedious, or you can try and play some of these cards as well. I'd say with this ratio, I'm going to play it out, and we're probably not going to need to use anything from over here. Oh yes, that being said, you can play the occasional card like this. That would have been a much wiser card to play on earlier in the game. I wish I'd have thought of that. And of course, Quarry, -2 to all tiles. That's pretty good as well. And I forgot about those. But that's pretty much the entire strategy right there. I'm going to throw that one into my deck and put it somewhere down here at the front, as the front's never really going to accumulate enough points, because as soon as you get 10, it's going to be cleared. So let's start placing down these silos. Do that all over again. It looks like that card has emerged pretty quickly, so I'm going to put that down here and our expenditure threshold goes up a little bit. So I'm just going to continue playing doing this, and I'll bring you back in a bit. Okay, I've now got 20 of these points to spend, but it doesn't really feel like it's worth buying anything. I could go for the quarry, but I've got a feeling it's going to disrupt the flow a little bit, and it might not add to all of the points. But 49 times 49 is a little bit better, so I'll probably give that a try at some point. And look at the way it's all lined up here. Just wanted to demonstrate it again, because it's literally just a case of constantly clicking these and doing it over and over again. I don't really want that to discourage anyone. This is like kind of how it plays out. Is 11 going to clear that? No, it's not. That's good, because what I want to do is try for as much points as we can. So we're just going to load tons of silos down the bottom here, and that's the most. Now we're going to... Oh, we can't spam play our prisons. I was going to... Oh, that's really unfortunate. I was going to like spam them down quickly, which we can't do unless we do that, and I was too slow. Anyway, and then once again, you've got to be really quick with this stuff. So put the prisons behind the solos and figure out where they go. I don't really have the best mental map for this, and it looks like that opportunity is passed. Maybe one more prison right there, and a few more points on that one. Yet we've just about squeezed it up to 47 if you saw the final bit. So, you know, doing that just means you get more points, and so each time you clear it, you want to try and do that and do it the best you can. That just happened to work out really well for us, and we don't want to put too many points on this beginning bit because we don't want it clearing until we've filled up the rest, do we? Let's hope I haven't messed that up. It looks like I might have messed it up. Yeah, I think I have. Oh well, lesson learned there. So we are nearing the end, and something that I wanted to point out is that the threshold here starts to tip down around 21, 20 I think it was. It goes as high as like 120, and now it's gone down to 40. So let's place down a few more of these, and we're like reaching the end of our game with 94,000. So I'm confident that we'll get 100,000. And this has been a pretty good game. By the way, I messed up a placement over here. I've done this a couple of times, and this is where the board is rolling back. You're trying to place in your cards to get a few extra prisons down on the front row, and you place it in the wrong place. That mess up your score. You see, we don't have 47, 47, and 47 again. So I should really like save my game before I do that, and you guys should do it as well. Every time you go to clear a bunch of rows, save your game beforehand. Anyway, you can see here we're fast approaching the next threshold, so we're going to go from 43 all the way down to 21. That's halved. That's incredible. It's over half. Yeah, so this is probably going to be our last round by the looks of it. So by the looks of things, we're going to beat the old score, which is really good, and we are running out of options here. Let's just try and get as many as we can. Silos down here. Now we've got to place a prison down the front. And actually we can keep... Oh no, we want to be careful here because we don't want our prisons stacking. Otherwise we'll be forced to use one. Right, 28 to clear it? No, you see? I failed. Let's load that back up then. Exit, no save. Once again, great reason to save, so we can bring this number all the way up beforehand. Provided that's going to be enough, then we'll start upgrading the ones near the back here. Prison over there. Looks like we're going to have to put a prison here. There you go, we've cleared it, so we just want to spend as many of these silos as we can, really, coming through here. Prisons behind them, silos, if I could say it correctly, just quickly as you can. Place them all down, because this is our last round of earning points for the looks of it. And that was about the best that I could... Oh, I could have actually placed another one. I thought that was it. 120,000, absolutely incredible. The threshold is now 64 to clear a lane, and that's it. We're pretty much done, because the most we can get is 47. So that was an extremely good run. 120,000, absolutely brilliant. Now you basically just got to click that, although I think you've got to place all your buildings down. Yep, so you just want to go spam fill all of this now, really. Can't earn any more points, just have fun chopping all of these down. That is an ugly looking city right there. Bam, and then just get rid of your lives. And the next one will be game over. And that's how you get a high score of 120,000. Incredible. Do hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a like down below. And I know it's been a lengthy guide, but it just felt like the right way for me to record it. Otherwise, it would have been tons of planning and preparation. And I thought, hey, I'm just going to play through and discuss things as we go along. And there we go. We have increased our high score. And we are still 5th. Oh, apparently that hasn't updated yet. Interesting. But yes, you can see we've got a better score right here. So, yep, that's it from me this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.